Good morning everyone. In previous lecture we have studied the basic assumptions of kinetic theory of gases. The kinetic theory of gas tells that the mass molecules can have any velocity between 0 to infinity. And now we will study the distribution of velocities among molecules. And to solve this problem, the first question that arises in our mind is that how many molecules or what fraction of total molecules have velocities within a certain interval near a preset value of a specific velocity. Let us consider that n represents the number of molecules per unit volume. Then the number of molecules per unit volume having velocities in the interval between C and C plus dc is represented by dn, and dn is proportional to dc, the velocity interval. That is, dn would be greater if dc is greater. Then dn is equal to a proportionality constant into dc. Here a represents the proportionality constant. Now dn also depends on the velocity c. Thus the proportionality constant a is considered to be a function of the velocity c, that is a is equal to function of c. Now dn is also proportional to the number of molecules per unit volume n. Thus dn finally equals to n into a function of c into dc, and this function f of c is called the distribution function. Now dn by n is equal to f of c dc, and for unit interval dn by n is equal to f of c, and this is the probability for any molecule in unit volume having a velocity that is within a unit interval near the velocity c, and this distribution function is also known as the probability density. Now let us represent all the molecules in a velocity diagram in a rectangular coordinate system. Now suppose u, v, w are the components of any velocity vector c along the x, y and z axis. Then c square is equal to u square plus v square plus w square. Now if we differentiate this equation, we will get that u du plus v dv plus w dw is equal to 0. Now this equation shows that du, dv, dw are not independent of each other. Now the probability for a molecule having velocities between u and u plus du is f of u du. Similarly, the probabilities for that molecule having velocity components between v and v plus dv is f of v dv, and having velocity components between w and w plus dw is equal to f of w dw. So the probability for that molecule having velocities between u and u plus du, v and v plus dv, and w plus dw is the product of the individual probabilities. That is, it is equal to f of u, f of v, f of w, du, dv, dw. Now if n is the total number of molecules in the gas ensemble, then dn, that is the number of molecules having velocities in the interval between u and u plus du, v and v plus dv, w and w plus dw should be equal to n f of u, f of v, f of w into du, dv, dw. Now if we divide both sides by du, dv, dw, then the molecular density will be equal to dn by du, dv, dw equal to n into f of u, f of v, f of w. Thus, the molecular density denoted by rho should be equal to n f of u, f of v, f of w, where rho is the number of molecules per unit volume having velocity components between u and u plus du, v and v plus dv, w and w plus dw. Now, since the gas is in a steady state, the molecular density in all directions should be equal. That is, d rho should be equal to 0, or d of f of u, f of v, f of w is equal to 0. Then, following some simple calculations, we will get that f prime u by f of u du plus f prime v by f of v dv plus f prime w by f of w dw is equal to 0. Now, since du, dv and dw are not independent to each other, we cannot equate the coefficients of individual differentials to equal to 0. Now, we multiply equation 2 by alpha and add this equation with equation 5. Then we get that f prime u by f of u plus alpha u du plus f prime v by f of v plus alpha v dv plus f prime w by f of w plus alpha w dw equal to 0. Now, du, dv, dw are effectively independent, and we can equate the coefficients of individual differentials to 0. That is, f prime u by f of u plus alpha u is equal to 0, f prime v by f of v plus alpha v is equal to 0, and f prime w by f of w plus alpha w is equal to 0. Now, if we integrate these equations, we will get that f of u is equal to a e to the power minus alpha u square by 2. Similarly, f of v is equal to a e to the power minus alpha v square by 2, and f of w is equal to a e to the power minus alpha w square by 2, where a is an integral constant. Then dn should be equal to n a cube e to the power minus alpha by 2 u square plus v square plus w square, or the molecular density rho should be equal to n a cube e to the power minus b c square, where c square is equal to u square plus v square plus w square, and b is a constant equal to alpha by 2. Now, in this equation, a and b are two constants. Now, this equation shows that the molecular density rho is only a function of velocity c, and the distribution of molecules is a spherically symmetric. Now, this figure shows the variation of molecular density rho with the velocity c, and the molecular density rho exponentially falls with the velocity c, and this is always positive. Now, in the expressions for the molecular density rho, there are two constants a and b, and we have to calculate the values of a and b. At first, we try to evaluate the values of constant a. The total number of molecules in the gas ensemble, that is n, is represented by this equation: integration minus infinity to plus infinity n a cube e to the power minus b u square plus v square plus w square du dv dw is equal to n. Then, by following some simple calculations, we will finally get that a equal to root over of b by pi. Next, we try to evaluate the value of constant p. In the previous lecture, we have evaluated the expression for pressure P as P equal to 2m summation of 0 to infinity nu u square, where nu is the number of molecules per unit volume having velocities between u and u plus du, and this should be equal to n f of u du, where n is the number of molecules per unit volume. Then the expression for pressure should be equal to 2mn integration 0 to infinity f of u square du. Now if we follow these steps sequentially, we will finally get the expression for B as m by 2kt, and by putting the value of B in the expression for constant A, we will get finally the expression for A as root over of m by 2 pi kt. Thus the values of two constants A and B are equal to A equal to root over of m by 2 pi kt and B equal to m by 2 kt. And if we put the values of A and B in the expression for the molecular density rho, we will get that rho equal to n into m by 2 pi kt whole to the power 3 by 2 e to the power minus mc square by 2 kt. And this is the number of specified molecules having velocity components between u and u plus du, p and p plus dv, w and w plus dw. Thus, the number of molecules D and C having velocities between c and c plus dc should be equal to rho times the volume between the two spheres having radius c and c plus dc. Then finally, the number of molecules having velocity between c and c plus dc is given by the expression dnc equal to 4 pi n m by 2 pi kt whole to the power 3 by 2 e to the power minus mc square by 2 kt c square dc. And this is the well-known Maxwell's velocity distribution law. Now dnc by n is equal to 4 pi m by 2 pi kt whole to the power 3 by 2 e to the power minus mc square by 2 kt c square dc equal to fdc, where we define the function f as f equal to 4 pi m by 2 pi kt whole to the power 3 by 2 e to the power minus mc square by 2 kt into c square. A graph of the function f versus velocity c is given here, and this gives the distribution curve for molecular velocity. Now from Maxwell's velocity distribution law, we can see that dnc will be 0 when c equal to 0 and also when c equal to infinity. And this is also confirmed from the nature of the curve. This means that number of molecules having velocities tending to 0 and also number of molecules having velocities tending to infinity is quite small, almost equal to 0. And between these two extremes, that is between 0 and infinity, there should be a value of velocity c for which the function f is a maximum. That is, maximum number of molecules will possess this velocity c, and this velocity c is called the most probable velocity. Later we will calculate an expression for the most probable velocity. Now, with the help of Maxwell's velocity distribution law, we can estimate the values of some physical quantities such as average or mean speed, root mean square speed, most probable speed, etc. At first, we will try to calculate the values of average or mean speed. Let N1 molecules have velocity c1, N2 molecules have velocity c2, N3 molecules have velocity c3, and so on. Then the average or mean velocity C average is given by C bar is equal to N1 C1 plus N2 C2 plus N3 C3 plus N4 C4 plus dot 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 by N1 plus N2 plus N3 plus N4 plus N5 and dot 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 equal to summation of Ni Ci by summation of Ni. And now if we replace the summation with integration for a continuous distribution of velocity, the average or mean speed c bar will be equal to 1 by n integration 0 to infinity c dnc, where summation of Ni is equal to n, the total number of molecules. Now dnc is equal to 4 pi n a cube e to the power minus b c square dc. Then c average is equal to 4 pi a cube integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus bc square into c cube dc. Now in this expression, if we substitute bc square is equal to z, and then using the definition of gamma function and doing some simple calculations, we will get that c average is equal to 2 pi a cube by b square. And now if we put the expressions for constants a and b, we will get finally the expression for the average or mean speed c average equal to root over of 8 kt by m pi. Similarly, we can evaluate the expressions for root mean square speed. The root mean square speed is defined as root over of c square average, where c square average is the average of square velocity. That is, c square average equal to n1 c1 square plus n2 c2 square plus n3 c3 square plus dot 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 by n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus so on, equal to summation of ni ci square by summation of ni, where N1 molecules have speed c1, N2 molecules have speed c2, N3 molecules have speed c3 and so on. Now by replacing summation with integration, we get c square average is equal to 1 by n integration c square dnc. Then by following similar calculations as we have done in case of the evaluation of mean average or mean speed, we will get finally that C square average is equal to TKT by M. That is, the root mean square speed is expressed as C equal to root over of 3KT by M. At last, we will calculate the value of most probable speed. Previously, we have defined what is the most probable speed. Now, from Maxwell's velocity distribution law, we have function f is equal to 4 pi a cube c square e to the power minus bc square. Then most probable speed is defined as the velocity c for which f is maximum, and most probable speed is denoted as cm. Now from the expression of f we can calculate df dc. Now for the maximum value of c we should have df dc equal to 0, and then if we equate df dc to 0 and follow these simple steps, we will get the expression for the most probable speed cm, and this is equal to cm root over of 2kt by m. That is, most probable speed is equal to root over of 2kt by m. Now we will study the temperature dependence of velocity distribution. The function f is defined as f equal to dnc by n equal to 4 pi m by 2 pi kt whole to the power 3 by 2 e to the power minus mc square by 2 kt c square dc. Now if we integrate this expression with respect to c for all possible values of c, we should get 1. That is, integration of 0 to infinity 4 pi m by 2 pi kt whole to the power 3 by 2 e to the power minus mc square by 2 kt c square dc equal to 1. That is, integration 0 to infinity f dc equal to 1. This means that the area under the distribution curve of molecular velocity, that is area under the f versus c curve, is unity. But previously we have calculated that the most probable speed cm is equal to root over of 2kt by m, and from this expression we can easily see that when the temperature T increases, the value of cm also increases. That is, the peak of the curve gets shifted to a higher value of c. But from equation 1 we know that the area under the curve is fixed, which is equal to unity. Thus, with the increase of temperature, the curve would get broadened. Now here a graph is plotted for the variation of f with respect to c for different temperatures T1, T2 and T3. T3 is greater than T2 is greater than T1, and we can see that as temperature increases from T1 to T3, the value of most probable speed Cm, that is the value of the peak of the curve, also increases, but the curve becomes broadened with the increase of temperature.